some time to take your calls because I am torn between the two things. Hey, what do you think of this? Barry Cooper's Never Get Busted Again, Never Get Raided video. What do you think of that? Former narcotics officer says 85% of the cops he worked with were around planted drugs.
Yeah, where was this at?
West Texas.
Okay. Well, that's...
Well, what about Tommy Chung? The federal case admit with the marijuana pipes he was selling, his son was, that they sent an informant in to mail the pipe to a city where it was illegal to bust him, and they still convicted him because they refused over and over again to sell the pipe to the city. I mean that's
who's this? Tommy Chong?
Yeah, Tommy Chong. He spent years in prison for it.
I'm not familiar with it. You always bring up cases.
Cheech and Chong.
Cheech and Chong. Oh, that guy. Oh, yeah. He made some good movies when I was growing up.
Yeah, but that's not right, man.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with it. You always ask me about stuff I'm not familiar with.
Yeah. You're not. But, I mean, how do they have informants? An informant could come in here and plant something. I mean, none of us are using any drugs, nothing.
Well, so an informant got him this mail something, talked to him in the mailing something.
They went and got a job there in the city that had a law against it.
Yeah.
That was a federal case doing it with the city. You know, they're out in California. This is in Ohio or whatever. I think it was Ohio. And they got somebody to get a job there at the office, and then they kept catching them, should have fired them trying to mail this pipe to this city, and they knew it was a setup, and then the employee, who was the informant, mailed the pipe, and then Tommy Chong goes to prison for it.
Well, you know what? I'm not familiar with that, but it would seem to me that the person that mailed it, unless they mailed it at the direction of the employer, may be more culpable.
But their overall thing was to mail everything out. But they told them don't mail to this city. This is on record.
Yeah.
And then the feds raided the maker of the film and confiscated 10,000 of them, but that only made it explode and blow up, and now it's on Showtime.
Really?
Yeah.
I'll have to check that out.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it.
You know, instead of me interrogating you, would you like to interrogate me, Police Chief Art Acevedo?
Yes. How often do you see black helicopters? I'm kidding. Actually, no, I got to tell you something, because people ask me, hey, they can't believe that I come on Alex Jones. And I always tell folks, I don't care how far-fetched you think somebody may be, and I'm not saying you are or you're not. I think on some issues, and I won't identify them, but on some issues, I kind of agree with you on some of your philosophy. But I really believe that government has to be responsible and responsive to people, and you obviously have a following, and that's why I'm here, because if you have questions or your viewers or listeners have questions, we want to answer them, especially as they pertain here to the city of Austin.
Well, it's very nice of you to come in. I was telling you I'd tell you that story. I'm out there bullhorning the governor at an event.
Yeah, that's right.
And about 10 police show up, and he comes over and he goes, Alex, come here, I want to talk to you. It was the commander. It's all on video. My cameras are stuck in his face, and he thinks he's whispering. We got a shotgun mic. We're picking it all up. This is on YouTube.
Yeah.
And he goes, if you don't leave, we're going to arrest all of you. And I said, listen, I know I need a permit to block a road or a street.
Right. This
is First Amendment. The city of Austin's lost suits. The state police have lost suits in Austin, a whole bunch of them. I said, New York's losing a bunch of suits right now. I said, I'm not leaving. He goes, fine. And they had the riot police catty corner in a parking lot there by the hotel getting dressed up, getting ready. And he goes, okay, you see them, they're coming. Then I go over to a newspaper reporter, and I go, he just threatened to have us arrested if we don't leave. And the reporter didn't believe it. He goes over, and the officer on video goes, I didn't say that. Now, it's all on audio. It's all on video. We have him.
How long ago was that?
Like a year and a half ago.
Is it my guys or is it state police?
It was your guys. It was a year and a half ago. You must have just gotten here. But the point is that then another commander comes up and goes, we're asking you to leave. And I said, but you're not telling me to. And I said, look, I don't want to be your enemy, but you can't be an enemy of the First Amendment. Yeah. I said, go ahead and arrest me, but I'm going to sue you. And if you can't beat the rap, you can beat the rap, but you can't beat the riot. Yeah. And they understood what that meant. And they left me alone, and the big riot police left. But I mean,
yeah, I'd be interested in seeing that video.
Guys, pull up, I forget the name of the video. It's on YouTube, special we did. YouTube, Alex Jones protesting Perry, cops or something. That should bring it up. I mean, if you got time after the show, I'll pull it up for you.
Yeah, no, actually, I can do it at home.
Yeah.
I YouTube you on a regular basis.
But I mean, he's on video. Oh, is he going to get in trouble or is he going to get promoted?
No, we don't promote problems. We deal with them.
Yeah. But why would he come over and say, we're going to arrest you?
You know what? Maybe because we do have an ordinance on using the amplified systems and the bullhorns without a permit. You have to have a permit here.
They could have written me a ticket, and then if I kept doing it, arrested me.
And then after the ticket, you'd arrest him. Then you'd escalate up to an arrest.
But he didn't say the bullhorn.
Yeah.
He said this protest.
Yeah, I don't think you can arrest somebody specifically for protesting just for the sake of protesting. It depends on what you're doing.
As long as you don't block streets.
Yeah, you don't want to block streets.
If you want to have 100,000 people out and take over a major street, you have to, just because it would shut everything down.
Well, I'll put it this way. I remember when I did the plan for the Democratic National Convention in L.A. Back in 2000 when I was with the California Highway Patrol, and I remember meeting with Senator Tom, what's his name?
Daschle.
No, state senator who used to be married to Jane Fonda, Tom Hayden. And he started asking me, hey, what are you going to do when the naked lesbians get up on the freeway and shut down the freeway? I said, look, I'm hoping that you as a responsible leader will not have folks come up on our freeway and block lanes, because I'd be concerned about people becoming angry and getting out of their cars and starting to beat on the protesters. I mean, it's for their own safety. So I think that we have our special response unit that handles crowd control. Their organizational model is protect the first. Protect people's first right amendments to rights to gather to protest the government.
But then there is the public safety issue.
Then there's the public safety. See, what the biggest problem is not people that are being loud. It's peaceful protesters that get infiltrated by a handful of, anarchist type that next thing you know they're hurling. They get in the middle of a peaceful crowd and they start throwing rocks and bottles.
Oh, did you hear about Denver, where the police and the Denver Post got caught attacking their own police in a staged event?
No,
6 months ago.
Don't know anything about
Google. I'm going to put up on screen for everybody right now, guys. Google this. I'm going to get the exact headline. ACL looks at police attacking police in Denver. Police attack police in Denver and dressed up like anarchists.
Yeah,
for the news cameras to then demonize them, and the other cops didn't even know that these were police attacking them.
Well, I'd have a problem if that was the case. We're not in the business of inciting riots.
But I mean, you're aware in history that the police agencies have done that.
Well, I'll put it this way: I wouldn't be surprised if something like that has happened, because at law enforcement, there's good and bad and everything, and sometimes people become misguided. That's why it's important to have proper oversight. You have to make sure we have the appropriate level of supervision and management to ensure that we're doing the right thing.
But who is commanding police in Montreal, Canada, in Denver, in Seattle to do this?
I don't know. I can't speak for other agencies.
Well, we know who. Delta Force. That was in the Seattle Post-Intelligencer and the Seattle Times. And speaking of that, last time I brought up troops on the streets, you were giggling about it. But I know you're a news hound, because you're usually informed on everything I bring up. Are you aware that the Army War College, Northcom, and others have announced they're going to have 20,000 combat troops to engage the American people, and the Army War College says that their new mission will be to suppress civil unrest inside the United States?
I'm not familiar with that now.
Here is the Army Times.
Yeah.
Exhibit A. Exhibit A, United States Northern Command, U.S. Northern Command gains dedicated response force.
Uh-huh.
And if you read, they say it's for WMDs and stuff, but then they add for civil unrest. Here's Northcom presents Brigade Homeland Tours, regular Army. Here's another one. Mm-hmm. That's I believe that's Newsweek.
Well,
here's the Phoenix Business Journal. Arizona police say they are prepared as War College warns military must prep for unrest. IMF warns of economic riots.
Yeah, what I think that what you're probably talking about is instances where the resources of the local state and county governments are overwhelmed, that there may be a need at some point to have troops assist in quelling civil unrest. What I mean by civil unrest, I'm talking about violent unrest.
Burning cities.
Yeah, I was in L.A. during the Rodney King riots, and I can tell you that law enforcement response was pretty embarrassing. We
stood down.
Yeah, it was.
Why did that happen?
Lack of leadership. I was extremely angry because when you see people starting to burn down, and you just roll everybody that's clear. You just send out on all points, a call out for help for everybody. And my philosophy is that you put as many cops there as soon as you can. As soon as people see you making arrests and taking appropriate action, that will have a deterrent effect on anybody else.
If not the hysteria.
It just starts spreading. And so, I mean, during that, we lost 50 American lives. I don't remember the exact number.
You know what turned the tide, though? A lot of it was the Koreans and others up on top of their businesses.
Well, they had to protect their own businesses in some of the locations. And, to me, that was a very embarrassing situation for me because we should never, as police officers, let it get to a point where we need to or we need to have somebody else come in and do our jobs. We're the peacemakers.